Hey guys, welcome to another WoW video, and for today's video we are going over the new mounts that will be available in 8.3. There's not a whole lot of new mounts, considering some of the patches we get, because we do get some patches where there's like 20 mounts to go after or something. So this one's a little more slim on the mounts, but there's still quite a few. Me saying it's slim is basically me saying there's like 10 mounts, which roughly is the case here. Okay, so with that said, let's get started. So we are going to start with the Mechagon Mechanostrider. With the new patch, we will have access to play both the Volpera and the Mechanomes. The Mechagon Mechanostrider is the Mechanome's mount. In order to get this mount, you will need to be exalted with Rustbolt resistance, and you will need the full achievement Mechagonian Threat. The achievement itself is really easy if you've been out there doing the Mechagon stuff. And then on top of that, you will also need to do Operation Mechagon. Next is the Volpera mount. So this is the Caravan Hyena, and to get this one, you will need to unlock the Secrets in the Sands achievement. This is done on Horde side, so you will need a Horde character. And you will also need to be exalted with Valdenai, and then you'll be able to get this mount. I personally have no interest in these two mounts. I probably would have interest in the Caravan Hyena if it wasn't for the fact that I got, I can't remember the name of it. I use it all the time though. It's the Dune Rider mount. I got that and I love it. And I've never been a huge fan of mounts that have things over them, and yeah, so, obviously I'll go after it anyway. I'm only 4 mounts away from my next mount achievement. So, these 2 mounts will be a great addition to working towards that. But personally, the Hyena, it's okay. The Mechanostrider, it's ugly as fuck. I'll take the Hyena over the Mechanostrider any day. But yeah, so that's my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, so on to some other mounts. So there are 3 mounts that will be available in the Valden area. One drops from Dune Gorger Kralok. He's a world boss. I'm sure you guys know who I'm referring to. And he will drop the Slightly Damp Pile of Fur. Once you learn it, it turns into Molly, which sounds a lot like a Dolly, the new pet. So I'm starting to maybe see a connection there. And then there's also the Reigns of the Spring Fur Alpaca. And this is from a quest. And the quest is called Alpaca It In. And then there's also the Reigns of Elusive Quickhoof. And this one's a bit of a mystery on how to get at the moment, but it's somewhere involved in. So I'm guessing from a rare, we may know a little more once the patch goes live. This one seems to be their little secret. There is the Uncorrupted Voidwing, and that is, well, they say it's suspected to be the heroic ahead of the curve. I think it's a very likely, it's a quest, and yeah, it is definitely the ahead of the curve. However, I kind of hope they changed their mind on that one, because the Uncorrupted Voidwing, while it makes sense for a corrupted mount to be the special limited time only mount at the end of the expansion, I still think it just looks so blah. You know, I feel like an ordeal like that deserves a really good mount, because for those that haven't gone after these time-limited mounts before in past expansions, for quite a few expansions now, what they've been doing is the last raid of the expansion, they put out a special mount that if you clear the heroic raid of the last raid, you get the ahead of the curve achievement, and then you get a mount or a quest to go do that mount or whatever, right? But that's what gets you the mount. It's not easy, unless you have, a raiding guild, of course. But if you don't, it's not the easiest. Pugging anything's, a bitch most days. Next up is the Nyalotha Allseer. This mount is from the Nyalotha raid, and it drops from Anzoth, who is the final boss. It drops on mythic difficulty. Also, speaking of the raid, here's the achievement for the raid. You do also get another mount for doing the achievement. It is called the Wriggling Parasite. Another mount is from the Horrific Visions. There is a rare spawn out there that drops the Male Muncher. We also have the Wicked Swarmer, which you've seen in probably a couple other videos that I've done where I've talked about the cloak or whatever. Rathion, he sells this mount. It costs 100,000 corrupted mementos. If you're wondering how you get corrupted mementos, then basically how you do it is you just do the Horrific Visions. The fastest way to get as many as possible is just by completing Horrific Visions, as many as you possibly can. There's also the Awakened Mind Borer. A lot of Mythic Plus players are going to be happy to see this, because a lot of the time when you do your Mythic Plus dungeons and you're doing like higher keys, you're really just doing it for points. There's really not much for reward. And this time there is a reward. The reward is a mount. It's not going to be easy. You do want to kind of have a committed group to pull this off, because what it is it's the BFA Keymaster achievement. They have it every season 1, 2, 3, and now 4. And basically what you will need to do is you have to do every single dungeon at a mythic level 15 or higher. And once you do that, you'll have the mount. Keep in mind that one of the new things is the dividing of Mechagon, and Mechagon's going to be a mythic, so that might make it a little extra difficult, having Mechagon in there as a mythic plus. And also worth noting that when it comes to achievements like this, they do have to be done before the next expansion comes out. So your time frame for actually being able to receive this mount, I would say, is anywhere from now to maybe August or September. So it seems like a long time, but if you're not in a committed group, pugging up to a 15 on every single dungeon can take a lot of time. So keep that in mind. If you are not in a committed group and you want this mount, start it now, because you are going to need as much time as possible. Also keep in mind that I am just giving a random guess there. We don't know the release date of Shadowlands, but I do know from the past it's generally anywhere between, I would say, end of July to mid-September that a new expansion releases. And this one is just a reward for completing the achievement, so it doesn't have to be purchased or anything. You just automatically get it. Next, we have the Shadow Barbed drone, which is actually kind of similar to the pet. If you watched the pet video that I posted a little before this, there's a Shadow Barbed pet in there. This grind for this is supposed to be very similar to the bee grind. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if maybe Horde complained that Alliance had this mount that they couldn't get. So I will be doing a how-to video on how to obtain this mount, so I don't want to go too much into detail, but basically I'll give you the gist of it. How you will start it is you will have the Void-Touched egg. They show up on your mini map when you're close to it. When you find it, you bring it to Mechagon, which I might have butchered, but you know the town I'm talking about. It's in Aldum. You bring it there, and that will start the long ass process. And when I say long, I mean long. This is gonna seem kind of like if you guys ever went after the Winter Saber, then you might, the Winter Spring mount. It's very similar to that because it's going to take 30 days. There's steps you do, and from my understanding, unless they change it, you can only do it once a day. So 30 steps takes 30 days. Also worth noting, in my pet guide that I put out just before this, I had mentioned the Shadow Barb hatchling, which is a pet that looks like this mount, and I had mentioned that there was a quest you did. That quest is part 23 of this. So when you're on day 23, you'll get the pet, and then when you're on day 30, you'll get the mount. Okay, so next up we have some mounts that are part of the Titan assaults out in Aldum and Vale of Eternal Blossoms. There is the Clutch of Haley, which may look familiar because it's basically a recolor of the Throne of Thunder mount, which was the Clutch of Jakun. And then we also have the Ivory Cloud Serpent. I personally love the look of the Ivory Cloud. I think, yeah, I just love this mount. And then there's also the Reigns of the Drake of the Four Winds, which was funny because when I first saw this, I'm like, wait, don't we have a Four Winds? And I'm so sure we do, but it must be just slightly named different or something. So, Reigns of the Drake of the Four Winds. And then there is the, I guess I could tell you where they drop. So Clutch of Haley drops from Haley. Ivory Cloud Serpent drops from the Ivory Cloud Serpent. Reigns of the Drake of the Four Winds drops from Ishak of the Four Winds. Waste Marauder will drop from Rot Feaster. Malevolent Drone will drop from Corpse Eater. Exinleo will drop from Andy the Loyal. And Ren's Stalwart Hound drops from Hound Lord Ren. So it's pretty easy. Like, their names are pretty similar to, the bosses that drop them. So it's pretty easy to know. And last, we have two mounts that you will be able to purchase. They are faction mounts, and they will be to do with the rep. There will be new rep that you grind out, and one is the Aldum Accord, which you'll be able to get the Waste Wander Sky Terror from. And then the other is the Rajani War Serpent, which actually you buy in a different sense. Basically, it's the Pristine Cloud Serpent scale. If you're lucky enough to loot that, then that is how you purchase the Rajani War Serpent. So, not bad. The Aldum Accord's pretty cheap, 24,000. Like, I'm sure all of us here have spent way more than that on multiple mounts before, so I think that's like a freebie mount right there. Now, I'm not totally sure where you get the Pristine Cloud Serpent scale. I like to believe you just skin it, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. And when it comes to a lot of these kind of things, they are usually PvP related. So I am betting that it's a PvP thing, but I don't know for sure, and there's just not enough info out there yet on it. So I can't tell you at the moment how you would get the Pristine Cloud Serpent scale, but once 8.3 goes live, we'll know how to obtain that, which is just in a few days anyway. And for you regulars of mine that watch all my videos, I will let you know in a WoW Weekly episode as soon as I know how and where you obtain this item. I think it's going to be tough because you only need one to buy this a very pretty mount. So I have a hard time believing that that's going to be an easy task. So yeah, but like I said, as soon as I know how and where, I will let you know in the following WoW Weekly. And that concludes today's video on the new mounts for 8.3. This is the list as far as we know it. There might be some that they add in during the patch as well, but this is the list. And yeah, so not too tough. I find there's more of a grind to get pets than there is with the mounts. You know, pretty much all these mounts are things you would earn over time, and yeah. So I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, that calls it for this video. If you're interested in everything that's going to be involved in the 8.3 patch, definitely check the channel. I will be uploading the patch video shortly after this video posts. So I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.